start with the chilling premise. The Forest of the 99 Nights is not just a place of danger, but a sentient, philosophical entity that governs cycles of chaos. It is the ultimate domain of the wild mind. Briefly revisit the concept that the 99 Nights is a time of required entropy, a necessary period where human order must collapse for the universe's dark engine to run. Why does the simple act of building a hospital trigger a cosmic backlash? Because the hospital represents the four pillars of civilized hubris: order, logic, healing, and hope. The forest views suffering and death not as failure, but as currency and consequence. A hospital is an unnatural, artificial attempt to withdraw from the forest's bank of required pain. We are trying to cheat the natural contract. If the forest is the primal force of entropy, what happens when you build a monument to anti-entropy right in its beating heart? Introduce the fictional story of the Sanatorium of the False Dawn, built near a 99 Nights epicenter in the late 19th century by hubristic rationalists. Introduce the fictional story of the Sanatorium of the False Dawn, built near a 99 Nights epicenter in the late 19th century by hubristic rationalists. Story about Sanatorium of the False Dawn. The building was opened in 1922 as a health resort and spa, and it became a magnet for the wealthy set of the Roaring Twenties. The Great Depression hit the resort hard, and as the years went by, the parties of the 20s became a dim memory. In 1950, the resort had been forced to cater to a less prestigious clientele. The survivors of the 1951 Northwest Mines collapse were treated at this location, leading to the clues found in the 1952 clue line, outlining the origin of the Wendigos on Blackwood Mountain. Some of these survivors had already resorted to cannibalism, and others were experimented on. The staff at the sanatorium recorded the transformation of the miners into Wendigos until the remaining survivors completed their transitions and killed whatever staff had not already escaped or died. It starts subtly. The forest doesn't attack, it corrupts the intention. Describe how IV bags, meant for life, slowly change composition. Not into poison, but into a substance that mimics the patient's worst fear when injected, causing temporary delirium that mirrors their deepest anxieties. Anesthesia, the promise of painless oblivion, instead triggers hyper-real, lucid nightmares of being conscious during one's own autopsy or burial. The staff is forced to watch patients violently struggle against the relief they are supposed to be getting. This is where the staff breaks, as the forest attacks the core human abilities required for medicine: competence and care. Staff members suffer from instantaneous, profound emotional detachment, apathy play. A surgeon cannot recall why they should stitch a wound. A nurse forgets the reason for administering life-saving drugs. They understand the task, but the why is erased. Introduce the idea of reverse immunity. Wounds that should heal perfectly start developing sentient fungal growths that whisper to the patient. Standard antibiotics actually feed the infection. The hospital becomes a biohazard of illogical, evolving sickness. The story of Dr. K, a brilliant surgeon who spent an entire night carefully sewing his own shadow to the wall, convinced it was the only way to save his patients. This is the forest's full architectural retaliation. The hospital rejects its blueprint. Hallways stretch infinitely when looked down, only to shrink back to normal when you turn away. Doors leading to the supply closet instead open onto the deep forest floor dozens of feet below. Certain rooms become localized zones of gravitational or thermal anomaly. A sterile operating room might suddenly have the humidity and temperature of a South American swamp, accelerating decay and exhaustion. This is the final chilling act of the forest declaring its domain. Describe the terrifying speed of reabsorption. Concrete turns to rough, ancient stone. Steel beams rust and crumble into loose soil within minutes. The building does not decay. It reverts to the elements it displaced. Crucially, the forest steals the idea of the hospital. Anyone who escapes remembers spending 99 nights, but the memory of the hospital, its staff, its patients, it is replaced with a featureless block of terror. They cannot warn others, as the knowledge is conceptually negated. The forest doesn't just destroy the structure, it destroys the history of the failure, ensuring the lesson must be learned again. The nosocomial rejection theory is a metaphor. It demonstrates that the ultimate horror is not the forest's monsters, but its fundamental truth. Human constructs of order, like medicine, bureaucracy, and logic, are temporary and delusional against the raw, indifferent power of the universe. The 99 Nights cycle repeats because every time civilization advances, someone, somewhere, will try to build a sanctuary, a hospital, in the place designated for suffering. And the forest will always wait to reject it. Tell us your theory about why the forest makes humanity suffer, and subscribe for deeper dives into the story of 99 Nights.